different level. It's a different level.
The thing that makes you guys special is you never quit.
We deserve to win this game. Make history. Make history.
We kind of all wanted to be in the One Shiny Moment video.
1, 2, 3.
And let's get going.
Ball is there you are. You're running for your life.
Welcome, everybody, to Off the Cuff. I am Adam Banks. Thank you for listening to the show. In the studio, I have a short panel today. Actually, just one more joining us. Mr. Jordan Conaster. Jordan, it's just me and you tonight. I don't know why everybody bailed on us, but everybody, I feel like, just got a little bum when Kentucky went out because that was everybody's team. So now it's just me and you.
Yeah, I think this is the first time that we've done a March Madness show with just you and I. So
I think this might be the first episode we've ever done by ourselves.
Yeah, I do believe it is.
It is. Well, this is awesome, man. So, like,
we're set up for a good show.
History in the making. So, we are here today to do the Final Four episode. And, here today to do the post-game episode. We have already done the Final Four episode. We talked about the Final Four, and it's already happened. And now we'll talk about what happened, talk about the championship game, and, of course, we'll talk about the Villanova Wildcats, who won their... Is this their
second in 3 years?
This is their second in 3 years, but have they won 3 total? Or is this
I do believe that's right. I'll have to research that real quick.
Yeah, I don't know. I felt like that when they won in 2016, everybody was saying that was their first title. But yeah, so it is the last episode of the March Madness series. Chad Rainwater and Zach Hahn are absent. They were originally on all the episodes, but they could not make it due to some other things. But hey, we are in luck because they have agreed to join us via the telephone. Jordan, you excited about that?
Oh yeah, it'll be different. We've had Zach on the telephone before, but I don't think I've ever had a show. I don't think Chad's ever been on the phone, has he, for a show?
No, I don't think Chad's been on the phone. No. I don't think he's been on the phone. Yeah, Zach actually, I think, made his debut on the phone on the March Madness series.
I believe it was. And to answer your question from a minute ago, Villanova did. They won in 1985, 2016, and then this year, 2018.
Oh, okay.
So this is their third championship.
Okay. All right, third championship. So, let's talk about the Final Four, what happened. First game up, Loyola and Michigan. And Loyola, their luck went south. They lost that game to Michigan. Jordan, what did you think about it?
Michigan was just too good. Michigan went up real quick. They went up like 10 or 12 points real fast on Loyola. And then Loyola battled back. And I actually thought they were going to make it a good game, but ended up in the second half. Ultimately, Michigan, just too much talent for Loyola. It's, something they really haven't faced the entire time in the tournament or all season. And Michigan just proved to be too good for them and advanced.
What a run for Loyola. I mean, you actually got to watch them live. You went to March Madness. You went to the Sweet 16?
Yeah, I went to the Sweet 16 game. So.
Yeah, so you got to watch them beat...
They beat Nevada, and it was pretty much a buzzer beater to win the game. So it was cool to see them and to see Sister Jean down there on the floor. So
So you saw Sister Jean?
Yeah, she was there.
I bet you she was a main attraction. Like, everybody wanted to get a picture with her or be near her.
I guarantee it. So all the Loyola fans were kind of behind her. So
yeah, well, that's pretty cool. You got to actually experience that little run there for Loyola. I think that Loyola will be remembered for this, but with like anything, time will pass and people will forget about it. Just like they did George Mason. Loyola, people forget losers. And they ultimately lost in the Final Four. If they would have won, they would have never been forgotten.
Oh, yeah. If they would have won the entire thing, it would have been the team that was never forgotten. But I think when it comes down to it, the team that's not going to be forgotten about this year is going to be the UMBC, more so than Loyola, the first 16 to ever take out a one.
That is, wow, yeah, that was huge. I mean, so much crazy things have happened in college basketball. UMBC taking down a number 1 overall seed for Virginia. Yeah. So much stuff happened in the tournament. That happened. Loyola they were kind of the first buzzer beater of the tournament. That kind of should have set the tone right there for how they were going to do. They beat Miami.
They actually were the first buzzer beater of the tournament. So
yeah, and there was just upsets up and down the brackets. I remember the first couple rounds, but a lot of things happened in the tournament. And so Loyola, they got beat. Michigan won, took them to the championship game, and then there was the Nova Kansas game. And I don't know about you, but this is probably the most forgettable Final Four I believe I've ever watched because I just wasn't excited about any of these games. I knew Michigan was going to beat Loyola, and I knew Nova would beat Kansas.
Definitely. Well, I actually thought Kansas was going to win, and it kind of shocked me to see just how bad from start to finish that Kansas played during that game, and Villanova just controlled the entire game and never gave Kansas anything.
Right, and usually Bill Self has a good grasp on his team, especially during the tournament, and he usually plays well when he's behind. Like, he can always come back. Remember, he was down 9 with 2 minutes to go against Cal in 2008, the championship game, and came back and won. He knows how to come back. So I was just waiting for his comeback to have a good game. But, yeah, Nova was... I never gave them credit, and I feel like such a fraud because on the very first episode, remember I said Nova would be the first number 1 seed out of the tournament?
And I would have agreed with you. I had them as my first one going out, but they controlled the tournament, and they never let off the gas pedal on anybody, and they won all games in a pretty solid fashion. So
they did, and then we had the championship game on Monday. We had Michigan versus Villanova, and Nova kind of dominated. They haven't lost they've won by double digits every game they played in the tournament, and they did the same thing against Michigan. Did you think for a second that Michigan was going to win?
Ultimately, I didn't think they would, but I thought that Michigan would have, until the final buzzer went off, I thought Michigan would have put in a better battle than they did. I mean, they played solid during the first half, but then you could just see the frustration in their players' eyes when things weren't going their way. And then they, young kids, when you build that frustration like that, you can see it on TV, usually when things start going south for you.
Yeah, so Villanova, they won. They played One Shining Moment. You got to see the clips of everything that happened. I always look forward to the One Shining Moment video because it brings up stuff that you forgot about. It seems like so long ago watching some of those clips. I'm like, wow, the first round seems like forever ago.
Mm-hmm. It's always more fun when they play One Shining Moment for Kentucky, though.
Yeah, isn't that the truth? I don't think I watched it because I was going crazy. I was too busy when Kentucky won. I posted a video on Facebook of me during that 2012 championship game. I was in Lexington. Did you see it?
Oh, I watched the game, and then I think I watched the game at my house, and then I drove to Lexington and just drove around downtown and got out. We walked around for a little bit, and it was just crazy. I mean, there was people car surfing. There was, couches on fire, streets closed down.
Did you go to State Street?
I went to State Street. I don't know if it was for that game or the game before, but I did go down there, and I remember I just remember that year that I went to State Street, somebody tried to set one of the police horses on fire. And that's the kind of crazy things you see.
That! I mean, that's terrible. I did not mean to laugh like that about the police horse, but that's crazy. And I went to State Street one time and won't go again. I'm way too old for that now.
Mm-hmm.
But when Kentucky was having that run in 2014. Remember that crazy?
That was the Randall year?
That was the Randall year when they went and played UConn in the championship game. We went down to State Street after we beat Louisville. And that was just a Sweet 16 game, but I guess because they beat Louisville, State Street was insane. They had FBI, covered, armored guys there.
Oh, yeah, everybody was in full riot gear whenever you go, and they're ready to go. So, and then you have people on the roofs throwing stuff at them.
People climbing signs, and I remember this guy was climbing this huge pole, like a light pole. He was climbing it like Spider-Man, and a police officer would just go over there and just bang on the pole with his podium and he's like, get down. And the kid wouldn't get down. So they got him down. Of course, they're going to get him down. Mm-hmm. And they said, we're going to tase you if you don't get down. But luckily that
would have been a hard fall.
That would have been a hard fall. But they didn't tase him. He came down. He didn't want to get tased. But that's the kind of stuff that was going on State Street. So I couldn't imagine it.
Flipping cars everywhere, and I saw a police car get flipped. And
you did with your own eyes.
Well, the same year, yeah, they were flipping a police car the same year that they tried to light that horse on fire and all kinds of stuff. I mean, it's just the amount of stuff that goes on State Street. Like you said, I'm too old for it now. So.
Were people encouraging the horse to be set on fire?
I don't think really that many people noticed, and then, immediately all the mounted police were over there, ready to get that person off. So it was definitely interesting, and I believe they did get arrested. So
they should. I mean, that's animal cruelty. That would have been horrible to set a horse on fire. But do you think Villanova partied like that? I'm sure there were some parties in.
Man, I'm
Philly.
sure Philadelphia is just partying. It's a championship year for them right now, the 76ers are good in the NBA. So
76ers are good. The Eagles won the Super Bowl. I mean, and then their basketball team wins the championship. They are the city of champions. Like we said, Cincinnati is the city of losers. Philly is the city of champions.
Right now they are, so.
Yeah, what a year for them. that is something to be said about Philadelphia.
Definitely. But, yeah, Nova looked good for him. So I'm curious to see now if Bridges and Brunson go pro or not. So I think Brunson might, they might have a shot at him coming back. I think Bridges is gone, but I think Brunson could come back next year, and they could be just as scary, if not scarier, next year.
I agree with you. We're going to take our first caller. We got Zach Hahn via the telephone, and we're going to go to him right now. Zach, how you doing, sir?
Doing great, guys. How are y'all?
Man, we would be doing better if you were here with us in the studio.
Well, I'm glad it's 2018 and we've got the wonders of telephones to bring me in. It's like being there.
That's never as good as in person, though.
It's never as good as in person. Zach, it's been a crazy year in college basketball, and you love college basketball. You're a big fan of college basketball, just like myself and Jordan. But I wanted to have a conversation with you about something.
Right.
College basketball, I do not feel like gets enough national attention. I think that you look at all these other sports, and you look at their main sporting event. You look at the NBA, the playoffs. What channel is it on, Zach?
Usually ABC, I think.
Yeah, it's on. It's either NBC, ABC. Yeah, so it's a national network. Okay, you got football, Super Bowl. What channel is it on?
Fox, right? Or one of the major ones.
Yes, I'm one of the major. I can't remember which one it's on.
CBS, something like that. And then you have college basketball. Their main game, their championship game. And what channel was it on? It was on a basic cable channel, TBS.
See, that was kind of
TBS, yeah.
That kind of caught me off guard this year. I mean, I think CBS owns all those stations, but it was kind of weird to you think CBS would host the Final Four every year, and I can understand them wanting to play all the games. So you do bring in other networks, but you would think that CBS would carry the national championship game.
Yeah. Do you think that college basketball people just don't care about it? Do you just think it's just a core group of people in certain states that really care about college basketball? Because I'm telling you, when I turn on the radio tomorrow, they're not going to be talking about college basketball anymore. It's over. They're going to be talking about baseball, and they're going to be talking about spring football. So do you think college basketball gets a lot of national love?
No, personally I don't, and I think it's diminishing. I saw an article today where there's a guy that does valuations of college programs, like that if they could actually be bought and sold, and his numbers were way down across the board for every program. I think it's easy for us to forget, being based out of Lexington, but college basketball carries a lot more weight in college towns, and if a big city doesn't have a good program, well, then they don't really care. From what I can tell, it definitely doesn't have the national appeal that it once did. That's for sure.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. So this season is wrapped up. What would you give if you were a professor, Professor Zach? If you could give this season a grade, what would you give it?
I would give it. I'd only give it a C+, Adam, and I'll tell you why. There was some good action in the tournament, but there always is. And really, I think one reason that Villanova was able to win is because the talent out on the whole wasn't as good as it normally is, and that's why they were kind of able to walk to it. They really stood out above everybody else, and that just showed how down that it was across the board. And then also you've got the looming scandals in the background. So really, I mean, I'd almost give it an F, right? Like if you cheat, your professor'd fail you, wouldn't he?
Yeah, he would. He definitely would. Absolutely. It's been a wild year. It's been a wild year in college basketball, and now we are talking about the next season. Top 25, Zach. It was early release. What do you think about that? Give me your thoughts.
Well, I've got 4 up on my computer here at home. It looks like it's split between Kansas and Duke. I personally would go with Duke. I mean, the talent that they brought in, they got the top 3 recruits. I think they're definitely poised to be number 1. And a lot of these Kansas projections that I'm seeing are based on Malik Newman coming back. And after the tournament he had, I just don't see that.
I absolutely agree with it. I think college basketball will be better next year. I just think that it was just a bumpy year for college basketball as a whole. Don't you think, Jordan?
Yeah, I do. I think next year is going to be interesting. I'm kind of curious. I think Duke's going to be kind of your overall consensus number one team to come into the season, win the national championship, just because of the amount of five-star, the top recruits that Duke's bringing in, and plus you have Coach K. I mean, I guess he's a pretty decent coach, but I think Kansas.
That sounded like it hurt, Jordan.
But no, I think Kansas is going to look solid. Villanova, it should bring back just about the entire team. And then, of course, Kentucky's bringing in some pretty big recruits. We'll see what they want to do. I heard there was an article on a website that said that Calipari is kind of pushing towards Kevin Knox to come back and give it another year to get himself more NBA ready. So that could definitely make Kentucky a lot better team next year. And then I think all in all, until they get rid of the one and done thing, then you're gonna have to deal with the way that college basketball is right now. And I think once you get rid of the one and done, college basketball is going to get back to being enjoyable again.
Yeah, absolutely. And that article that you were talking about was on SEC country. Apparently, there's a chance that Knox might come back. But everything I'm seeing says that Gilgeous-Alexander and Diallo are probably gone.
For sure gone, yeah.
Diallo, what have you heard on that, Jordan? Is he definitely gone?
From all the reports that I've seen, they just said, he's got his mindset on the pros and that he's not, he's not coming back. He's rejected, I think, now second-round pick, which Diallo's not pro-ready. I think he's making a big-time mistake. I think if he's going to
he's headed for the D-League.
Yeah, he's gunning for overseas, in my opinion. I think the D-League's better than him. So
y'all are outdated. It's the G League. It's the Gatorade League.
It is the G League.
Not the D League anymore.
Well, sorry, man. I guess Gatorade's going to sue us.
That's true. Well, Zach, man, we would love to talk college basketball with you all night long, but we are running out of time, and we want to thank you for being on the show via the telephone, man.
Well, I appreciate you working me in there somehow. It's been a fun March. I might give college basketball a C or maybe even an F this year, but I give off the cuff an A every day.
Absolutely. Well, Zach Hahn, ladies and gentlemen, it's always a pleasure, Zach. We'll see you, and we'll catch you down the road.
All right, thanks, guys.
All right, bye-bye.
See you, Zach.
Bye.
It's always good to have Zach join us. Since we're on the road of taking phone calls, we're going to go back-to-back phone calls, and we're going to get Chad Rainwater, who couldn't be with us here in the studio. We're going to get him via the telephone as well. So let's welcome Chad to the show. Always a pleasure to have Chad. Chad, what's up, my man?
Hey, man, how's it going?
Oh, it's going pretty good, man. It would be better, like I told Zach, it'd be better if you were here in the studio with us. We're sorry that you had to miss our faces tonight.
I know, man. I hate not being there. I wish I could be there to join you guys, but I guess I'll make my first appearance via the telephone.
Yeah, that's what we were talking about. Well, Chad, what I want to talk to you about is just really this podcast. We already talked about the Final Four a little bit, but we're talking about Villanova. They've won their second title in 3 years. And Jay Wright probably now going to be named amongst the elite coaches. What do you think the future is going to look like for Villanova and Jay Wright?
Well, it's, I guess looking back for about 3 or 4 years ago, well, not 3 years ago because they won the championship, but 5 or 6 years ago, you'd say Villanova, not a top team. They was always good. And but they always got beat early in the tournament. You never could have any hope in them. But now I think you look at Villanova as one of those elite programs. I mean, like you said, they've won 2 national championships in the last 3 years. I think now you have to look at Villanova and say they're up there with the blue blood schools. I think Jay Wright's one hell of a coach, and I think he's proved his haters wrong.
Yeah, do you think he's going to stay at Nova, or do you think that somebody like North Carolina would come calling when Roy Williams retires?
That's a good question. If something like that opened up, like a North Carolina or Coach K left Duke, you would definitely have to say that you probably think that he would try to go to one of those jobs.
Yeah.
But I think right now, him at Villanova, that's a great fit. I mean, like I said, it's one of those programs that are up there with the big dogs in college basketball. So I think Villanova's a good fit for him. But if something did happen and Roy Williams left North Carolina or Coach K left Duke, I think then you have to think that there'd be a good possibility he would go to one of those schools.
See, I could see Jay Wright going somewhere big just because I think Jay Wright's only like 52 or like 55, something like that.
Yeah,
he's
young.
He's still pretty young for, to be a top-tier college basketball coach like that. I don't see him leaving.
He's definitely the best dressed coach in college basketball.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely is. But, yeah, I could see him going to an elite program, but it's going to have to take an elite program like Carolina or – I'm surprised Louisville never reached out to him, but he was not going to leave Villanova. But you also got to think, he's got a dynasty at Villanova. He's not going – he don't have to go anywhere. He could stay there for the rest of his life. He's got job security there. He's won 2 titles.
He's built his own brand at Villanova, so it's kind of hard once you do something like that to leave a program, especially when you've got them to 2 out of 3 years winning championships. And, he's not pulling in the best recruits, but I don't know if Jay Wright just doesn't like pulling in the one-and-done players, but it's working for him not pulling those players in because he won with a team of pretty much juniors this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like you said, he's not going for the one-and-dones. I mean, he's doing it a different way than everybody else that is, but look what it's done for him. He's won 2 championships in 3 years, so it's working.
Do you think that Nova's going to be any good next year?
I was actually looking at the early odds for the teams to win championship next year. I think Villanova has the second or third best odds to win it all. So I do believe so. I mean, you would say that probably Jalen Brunson is probably gone. I think he's a junior. I mean, you don't see many older players as good as he is stay around for their senior year. Maybe so, but I mean, what else does he have to prove? He's already won 2 championships.
See, I think Brunson's going to come back because his draft stock's not as high as Bridges is. So Bridges is gone for sure. But I think you're going to see Brunson come back next year and try to make one more run before he has to go. But he has already graduated. He's a 3-year graduate, so it'll be interesting to see what he decides to do.
Chad, let's talk about the college basketball season as a whole, 2017-2018. It's been one of the craziest years in college basketball. And just to name some of the crazy things that have happened, this was the first year that a 16 beat a 1 in March Madness. It was the first time ever a national championship banner was taken down. And then in light of all that, you got the scandals with this Adidas thing coming out, holding over a lot of people's head, led a lot of different programs. What do you think just overall about the landscape of college basketball this season?
Well, as I was thinking about it, I didn't even pay attention to all the scandals going on. I didn't think about Louisville getting their banner taken. I kind of forgot about that. But yeah, it's been a crazy year for sure. I mean, just by sorry, somebody's trying to beep in. My mom. Let's say, yeah, just by the first thing you said, the 16 beat the 1 seed. We talked about earlier, I guess before this show started, about how we knew it was going to be a crazy March Madness just because of how college basketball had been. So it was not down. It was just an odd year.
Yeah.
I mean, you had teams that weren't supposed to do any good, but they ended up winning their conference. And you had teams like Duke, who was supposed to go 40-0, lose 6 or 7 games. And then in the tournament, when the tournament came along, you had a 16 beat a 1 seed. I mean, that right there shows how crazy and odd that college basketball was this year.
Yeah, we had a true Cinderella team. But the good thing I like about Nova is, out of all this going on, and one of the most significant years in college basketball, Nova is the right champion to have, I feel like, because it's a clean-cut program. I don't think that they're going to be getting their banner taken away. I don't even think they're being investigated for any wrongdoing.
Yeah, I don't think they have anything there to be investigating wrongdoing. It's just a solid coach team with, kids who want to win.
Yeah, Banks, you said last night after they won that you hated watching other teams celebrate. I do as well, but I didn't mind it. Like, if Michigan had won, that'd have been fine. I wouldn't care. But if it was something like Duke or North Carolina, I think we all know that would we'd probably turn it off and won't even watch it. But I didn't mind seeing Nova celebrate. As long as a team, like you said, that's clean, doing things the right way, it doesn't bother me at all. And they're really not a team that you can hate. There's nothing really bad about them that you can just say, or you can just cheer against them. I mean, yeah, you might envy them a little bit just because they've won 2 out of the last 3 years. But I didn't mind at all seeing Villanova celebrate their championship.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. It didn't bother me at all to see them celebrate. But a team like North Carolina or Duke, that would definitely have bothered me.
Yeah,
but
Nova's a likable team. And we were talking about how wild it is that Philadelphia is the city of champions because they won a Super Bowl, they won a national basketball championship, and their NBA team's doing well. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if they'll win the world NBA title, but I think they'll make the playoffs.
I mean, they're a projected 3 seed in the playoffs. They're one of the best teams in the East, so it wouldn't surprise me. They have a lot of talent on the 76ers in a wide open Eastern Conference to play in. So
yeah, you got to trust the process. I mean, they're a great young team. I mean, dang, I'm outside and it's like about to come a thunderstorm.
I was gonna say we just saw a big giant lightning strike outside.
I just saw it too, man. So
that's probably the same one I saw.
There's a thunder.
But,
no, that's
yeah,
that's God moving.
The Sixers are
that's God moving.
The Sixers are one of those up and coming teams that they can make some cause some damage in the playoffs this year. I mean, they won't probably make it to the Eastern Conference Finals, but you could probably say that in a couple of years they'll be right there, one of the best teams in the East.
Well, we don't want you to get electrocuted, Chad, so we got one more thing to talk to you about, and then we'll let you go. Your boy Rick Pitino was in the news recently. He has been trying to get a job, as you know of, and you said that he don't deserve to be on the college basketball floor anymore. But did you see where he got turned down by Rhode Island?
I did see that. I saw it on Facebook. I didn't read anything, but I don't know who would want him right now. I've said it before. I mean, he's caused so much trouble. Why would you want Rick Pitino as your coach?
Well, they have that. They have the team in like New Zealand or something that offered him a job to be their basketball coach. You know, it's overseas, but the one thing about that team is they won a championship, their league championship in 2013. So you got to think if he went over there, he could replace his 2013 banner. And then Edgar Sosa is their star player. So it wouldn't surprise me to see something like that out of Pitino if he wants to keep coaching.
Yeah, well, Chad, we want to thank you for taking time out.
Can I say one more thing first before I get off?
Absolutely, go ahead.
Did you all mention anything about our brackets? Because I believe I had Michigan and Villanova in the championship game.
That's right. You know, that's funny that we never really talk about our brackets when we get to this point because they're always destroyed. But yeah, you did have the championship game predicted. You were the only one out of all of us here that had Michigan playing Villanova, and you had Villanova as your champ. So, hey, does that make you the Jay Billis of Off the Cuff March Madness series?
I believe it does. It makes me feel a little special, you know, that apparently only 2.7% of America has Villanova and Michigan in the championship game. So I'm taking a little pride in that. I mean, it was luck. It wasn't anything. I didn't do much research. It was basically just pure luck.
Well, it's really not a far-fetched pick, though, Michigan and Nova. I mean, if you had the Final Four predicted, I mean, that would have been wild. Did you have Loyola in the Final Four? I don't think hardly anyone did.
Loyola. Aaron's son, Bradley, I think Bradley's 9 years old now, and he had 3 of the 4 teams, and Loyola Chicago was one of them.
Yeah, kids, if you give a kid a bracket, he could probably almost fill out a perfect bracket. But yeah, you're right, Chad. Well, man, go inside, be safe, don't get electrocuted, and thank you for taking the time out to join us via the telephone, and can't wait to get you back in the studio.
Yeah, guys, thanks for having me on.
No problem, man. We'll talk to you later.
See you guys.
See you, Chad.
So yeah, Chad Rainwater, ladies and gentlemen, via telephone, and it's just back down to me and Jordan. But Jordan, anything you want to add before we close up the March Madness series? It's always fun to do this. It's my favorite series to do. I think we do, what, is it 5 or 6 episodes total? We do the Selection Sunday.
5.
First and second round.
So the round of 32.
Sweet 16, Final
8,
Four.
4, and then the championship. So
5. We do 5 shows. Yeah, it's always fun. You've been on all 5 of them. Your number of episodes is growing.
This is my first year that I've actually been on every single episode. Last year, I think I had to work during one of the episodes, so I had to miss it.
Yeah, you've been on every episode. Yeah, so make that a habit. Next year, you need to be on every episode.
Oh, yeah, and I'll have to try to join you more for just some other shows.
You do.
We can get a little bit more off the cuff with it then. And
yeah, no, I feel like this
basketball.
works. I mean, you and me doing it by ourselves, I think we killed it today.
Yeah, it was a good show. I mean, it's always fun. And then, you know, it's definitely always fun doing the college basketball and just basketball in general. You know, we're both huge sports fans, and it's been a fun college basketball season. I'm sad to see it come to an end. I love me some baseball, but basketball and football are my true loves. So.
Yeah, baseball's fun because it's summertime. Everybody's in a good mood. It's sunny. But I'm a Reds fan. You're a Reds fan.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen the stadium of how low attendance the Reds have been having at their games?
No.
Like 2,000 people was in the stadium the other day. It was.
I was looking at going to a game here in the next couple weeks, so I need to kind of get on that and see if you'll be able to go up there with me one day. It's not too far of a drive, but
yeah.
And then college baseball. Since we're talking about the NCAA right now, I was actually supposed to go to the Kentucky Louisville baseball game tonight, but that kind of got canceled because they moved the time up to 4 p.m. And I was actually supposed to go with Zach before the podcast started, and they moved the game up to 4, and he had to work. So
it was
that
God's
didn't
plan
work.
for you to not go, so he could make sure that you were in here.
Yeah,
in the studio.
And now it's starting to storm. So
now it's starting to storm. So yeah, you probably got to get heading on the road too. So, all right. Well, this is a close to the March Madness Series 2018. Jordan Conaster, Adam Banks. This has been Off the Cuff, ladies and gentlemen. We will see you in the next episode. Back to regular broadcasting. Thank you for listening.